Hello. In this video, we're going to continue with some advanced editing lessons, and we're going to do a buffer on this stream to the south of our little practice area, and we're going to use split overlays to cut out from this land class fabric. We used split features before, but now we're going to use a different function that does virtually the same thing. So first thing to do is select this stream, and we're going to use the buffer tool. So that is Alt E G, edit geographic buffer, buffer. And we're going to put a 50-foot buffer on there, so type that in, make sure that's set to feet. And I think we're going to need to make a new layer here. We'll make a layer called buffers. So first you set the distance, then you tell it where you want to set that, because what we're doing is making a new layer based on a distance from this stream. And we're going to leave this on low vertex intensity, and we're going to buffer on both sides. So I can show more options there soon, but let's just go with pretty much the standard options. We'll send it to a layer name buffer, click OK. Okay, so here is our 50-foot buffer, and what that means is that this polygon is going to be 50 feet from this center line on both sides, so you can use the view distance tool if you want to double check that. I'm just going to grab this vertex on the stream and then this vertex on the buffer and hit enter, and you can see that's exactly 50 feet. So now we've got 50 feet on either side. What we want to do here, and what we are doing, is we're changing this land class. So right now we have this set to M. Now what we're going to do is make a mixed land class, mixed timber, with a water protection tag. So there's a couple ways we can go about this. Let's go into edit mode one more time on this. I'm just going to double click, and you can see straight away that there's a lot of vertices. Typically, if you were going to draw a feature like this, you wouldn't add that many vertices, especially in some of these areas like this. Like, you're never going to put two vertices that close together. So what we really need to do is use this buffer shape as a template in order to cut out this. Now, the quick way to do it would be to change to land class, because we want to split land class. You would come in here and you would grab, and you would go around kind of just grabbing single features, and you would work your way around, end on the outside, and split that out, and that would save some vertices. But what we're going to try to do now is use a tool called split overlays, and what that does is it uses a feature. So let's just use this one just to do a quick example. So let's go Alt Edit Geographic Split Overlays. We're going to split features on the land class layer and send results to the land class layer. By default, that's set. We're going to leave all of these settings default for now as well. We always want to delete the original features, otherwise you can end up with duplicates, because, well, that's just how it works. But we can delete the splitting feature. So in this case, buffer is our splitting feature. So if you don't intend to ever use that buffer again, you can delete it immediately. But we're just going to leave everything as it is right now. Let's hit OK. And so what we should see here is this land class get split out. Okay, I'm going to turn off buffer just to show this. There's a shift click to turn that off. So here we go. We use the buffer as a cookie cutter to split out this land class. You can see that that matches exactly. And I really mean exactly. It takes all of those vertices. And like I said, that's just too many vertices. You know, we have to be conscientious of what we're doing here, because some of these, land class has 17,000 features here in this training geo, but in some other geos you can have 50,000. So there's a lot of features, and maintaining how many vertices we have can save a lot of storage for these features, and anything we can do to help with our data the size of our data over time is a good thing to do, because we don't want to end up with huge geos. So we just got to make sure that we are keeping track of everything as we go. Okay, so I'm going to union those back together. I should have explained that as I went, but edit geographic union. I put those back together because there was too many vertices. I'm going to clean up this edge now as well. I'm just going to delete those vertices from land class because they don't really need to be there. And I'm going to turn buffer back on once this saves. I know buffer's right here, so I'm just going to turn it on that way. You can also use the layer tree. Now what I'm going to do is make another layer. Edit, layer, add. I'm going to call this E-line, which is just one of those things that we've ended up adopting over time. It's just a temporary feature. It's a line. It's not a gold layer. We expect to delete that every single time. So we just adopted the name E-line. Now with that E-line selected, we're going to do edit geographic add. Okay, feature info doesn't matter for this. And what I'm going to do is just, let's see, we'll just grab this. And what the idea here is we're going to mimic this buffer, but we're going to not use every single vert. So you can see right here, I'm rounding this corner. I'm just going to take those 2 verts out of the 4, which, so there I've saved a couple. This is straight, so I'm going to skip that one back there. Just grab that one. And kind of every other one going through here. Let's see, we'll just grab that one. And maybe every other one here. And you don't have to spend too much time making sure you get every other one. You just kind of cruise around this, pressing G, kind of just get your spacing so it makes sense. So, I've got about half of those. And it still is looking good. See, I've grabbed less vertices, but the line is still pretty much the same exact line. Let's see, coming across here, I'll grab this one, this one, this one, this one, and missed this one. And I'm just going to click right here on this line. So that's my E line. Press enter. So same way that you were using the split feature tool, except for you're making a feature. So now that I've made this feature, we can use edit geographic split overlays, land class, same settings, press OK. That's going to do its split. So the advantage here is that if you made a mistake or you want to make an adjustment, you already have that E-line. You could union these back together and use the E-line again. You don't have to go through with the split feature tool and draw the entire shape again. There's a lot of different reasons to use an E-line, depending on how confident you are with your split. Sometimes you need to split out. I mean, imagine this stream was all the way across this whole temp practice parcel area, and say it went through a couple of these regen units and it was just complicated. If you add that E-line, you can assess what you're going to cut out afterwards. You can edit it again. If you make a mistake, you can fix it, and then you can split it again. So if you have something, if you come across a situation where you have a really long split that you need to do, using the split feature tool is typically not what you want to do unless you're so confident that you're going to be able to hit that perfectly the first time. So split overlay, also really handy with polygons. Sometimes you'll be given a shape ahead of time that you need to use, and it's already built. So you can just grab that shape, split out the fabric, you're done. You don't have to use a split feature tool at all. So let's assess what we did down here. I'm going to turn off the buffer again just so we can see what we ended up with. I'm going to even turn off the E line. And let's just edit this real quick. Double click. Yeah, that looks good to me. There's still a few verts up here, but you need a few verts because it's a pretty tight turn there, and you need to have quite a few in order to maintain that 50-foot buffer. So I'm liking that. We'll just leave that as it is, and let's update the feature information once that saves. And so I'm just going to click on that, and let's update the C2 field to W3 and click save. Gosh, I'm going slow here. Sorry, I think I have too many applications running. So you can see there, let's just double check our thematics. That changed color. So why did that change color? We have thematics set up on C2 field, which we just updated. And so anything with C2 equal to W3 is going to have some sort of percent fill with red. So that's what we're seeing. So there we go. We've got our land class updated. And we learned how to use the split overlay tool. And we updated that feature information. And we learned how to use the buffer tool. Of course, there's more to learn with those buffer tools. I think the concept comes across just with that short example. If you want to spend the next 5-10 minutes, buffer this again and play with a couple of those other options, just see what it does. There's left and right buffer, which can be useful if you want to buffer on the inside of a polygon. So spend some time with buffer, just make a few buffers, delete them, get used to working with that tool. Maybe do another split overlay on something. Go ahead and just split an overlay. Edit geographic split overlay. You can use any feature you want. Just we want to end up where we are now. So if you do split out some big chunk, or you want to union this back together again and do another split, just make sure you end up with the way that it looks like right now. Okay, take another 5 minutes for that.